Greetings, I'm Newslice, and today I'm going to be ranking all Resident Evil safe room themes based on my own experience with the games. So that's why I'm only going to be ranking games that I've personally experienced, and I'm not going to be talking about games that I haven't played, like Outbreak, and that's pretty much it. So let's start off with the obvious. So you're probably here because you know me from Resident Evil 4. So let's talk about RE4, the original, the safe room theme, the original game. So I actually think RE4 original has one of the simplest yet most iconic songs in all the franchise ever. It's very short, but in my opinion, a safe room theme should feel like you're safe. It should give you that feeling of safety, but you're still not done yet. Like you're still in danger. So sort of like a fleeting moment, sort of like you're safe for now, but you know that you're gonna have to go back out there and continue your struggle. And I think RE4 does a great job at doing that, the song, but it doesn't quite give me that same feeling as the original 3, which I'll talk about in a second. So let's take a listen, right? Shall we? Let's listen to it for a little bit. So this is the original. I think it's so simple yet iconic. So it sort of gives you that melancholic sort of feel, like it's fine for now, you can rest, but it's not over yet. And it's very simple, very iconic, but in my personal preference, it's not quite one of the best. It's one of the best, it's not the best. So that's why I'm putting it on A. So on the same level, I think RE4 Remake has a very similar vibe to it, and they did an amazing job at remixing it. So let's listen to it. It's very subtle compared to the original. Yeah, so I love this song. I love all of them, but this one doesn't give me the same vibe as the original, but it's like a modernized version of it. It's much more subtle than the original, but I feel like it's on purpose because the remakes are on the more realistic, sort of more grounded than the cartoonish original 4 or I guess the original 6 games. I think it's great. I think it's on the same level. I would put it on the same level as the original, but if I were to choose, the original is probably slightly better. But in terms of safe room themes, they pretty much are the same thing, in my opinion. So let's talk about one of the worst ones, actually. Not that I don't like it, but it just doesn't feel as iconic and memorable as the other ones, and that is Revelations 1. So let's listen to it, shall we? And I'll talk about it in a second. So it sort of gets the point across. It actually reminds me of Dark Souls 2 Majula, sort of, but of course I prefer Dark Souls 2's theme. But yeah, it's a great song. I would listen to it to relax, but it doesn't quite give me that same iconic feel as the other ones. It's great. It's definitely not memorable, but if in case you don't know, the original Resident Evil Revelations had a more underwater sort of ocean setting. So it's like a sort of almost Lovecraftian horror. It kind of didn't feel like that, but that's what they were going for, I think. So I think the music sort of gets almost there, but it's quite not, memorable, and I don't feel that feeling of safety. It's more like I'm just chilling. This is okay, but I don't feel that same feeling of, you know, melancholic, or, sort of like it's okay, you'll be fine, but just know that you're gonna have to go back out there. I don't. It kind of gets almost there, but it's not as iconic as the other ones. It doesn't give me that same feeling, in my personal opinion. So let's talk about the original. I'm not going in order. I'm just going randomly. I'm sorry. So let's talk about the original RE1 and RE1 remake. I think they're on the same level. I think they're amazing songs. They are the perfect. They are the perfect type of. I think every safe room theme should be based off of these two songs. That's why I'm putting them on A, actually, not B. So I'm putting them on A because I think they're just everything that a safe room theme should have. These two original songs have that thing, have those things. It has to make you feel like you're safe for now, only but for a moment. It's okay, you can take a breather, and then you're gonna have to go back out there, but it's not over yet. You're still struggling, but for now you're safe. So let's listen to them for a little bit. So this is the original Resident Evil, the first one. Immediate classic. Once again, very simple. Very simple. You feel safe, but it's still kind of like a creepy safe, and I think it's amazing. I think it's awesome. Let's listen to the remake version. It's the same. So yeah, it's that same feeling of, creepy safe. And yeah, that's pretty much all I had to say. I think every song should be based off of this. So let's talk about one of the surprising ones, actually. I think you'll be surprised that I think this is a S tier song. Mostly because it's RE Village. It's one of the most recent ones. You guys probably don't like the game as much as the original ones, but I'm not talking about the game. I'm gonna be talking about the song. RE Village is actually one of the songs that I actually use in my videos a lot, and it gives me that exact same feeling of you're safe only for a moment, and it's iconic. Like every time I listen to it, I know I'm in a safe room. You immediately have to know, for a safe room theme to be good, you immediately have to know this is a safe room. Immediately you enter a room and you hear that theme, and you're safe, and you can save your game, and you can come back later or take a breather. It makes you feel like you've accomplished something, right? Getting to that point where you can stop, it makes you think about you've progressed through a game, and all of these feelings are amazing to me. While playing a game, I get very immersed. So music is an incredibly important thing in a game, and I think the RE Village theme song for the safe room actually is one of the most amazing songs that I've listened to recently in a video game. So let's listen to it, shall we? It's almost like it almost feels like you finished the game. So it gets there, but it then goes back to feeling, sort of hopelessness, but also there is, some satisfaction that you can rest, but there's still that sort of hopelessness vibe to it, in a hint of that in the background. And I really, really think this is one of the most amazing songs. My only complaint is that it's very subtle in the game. Even if you have your music maxed out, it doesn't hit you immediately like others would. So if there was a higher tier, let's say SSS or S plus, I would probably put this on S, and then others on that tier, which I'll talk about in a second. But I think it's not quite super iconic just yet. I think the game has to be around for a little bit, though. I think it will get to that point. I think this game will definitely get to that point where it becomes a classic. But just, since it's so recent, it's really difficult to compare it with like something like RE2 and RE3, 1998 and 99, because it's so recent, right? And everyone immediately knows those songs. So that's why I want to talk about another S tier song, Safe Room Theme, and that is original RE2. I think, like I said, if there was an S plus, I would put this above RE Village. But for now, I'm just gonna do it like this because I feel like doing it like this. I think this is like the peak of Resident Evil in terms of game, in terms of music. Just everything was perfect at the time. It's like Capcom took what they had learned from the original Resident Evil 1 and like went above and beyond with the sequel, with everything, and in particular, in this case, the music. So let's listen to it and I'll give you some more insight on it. This is immediately a classic. It is so good. It's just simple yet, like I said, a safe room theme should give you that feeling of you're safe, but it's kind of creepy. Something might still kind of lurk around the corner when you get out. Just know that you're safe for now, but you don't know how it's going to end. Feeling of hopelessness a little bit, but some satisfaction that you're finally safe. And I think this is just a perfect song. In fact, let's move everything down a notch here. Purely because I feel like I would upset the fans if I put RE Village on the same RE2. So let's pretend that this is S plus and this is S. Okay? Alright. So RE2, an amazing game, my favorite game of all time in terms of Resident Evil. Nothing else to say other than iconic. As soon as you enter a safe room in that game, you hear that song and it hits you. You know you're safe. You know everything's going to be fine. And, again, we associate memories with music a lot of the time without even realizing, all of our five senses, and, hearing this music really takes me back to, experiencing these games for the first time. And of course, I'm not letting that sway my ranking, but like I said, this is a personal tier list. So for me, this is the best, if not one of the best, if not the best song. And while we're on the same topic, RE3 Nemesis, original RE3, safe room theme. Again, this was my first Resident Evil game ever. The original RE3, 1999 on the PlayStation 1. I was watching my brother. I was about 5 or 4 years old watching my brother play this game, and I remember vividly. I didn't understand much what was going on, because they were, I knew that it was fake, so I was able to separate reality from, the game, but I didn't know, the more adult parts of the game. I just knew I was having a lot of fun watching my brother, learning how, looking up to him and seeing that he's achieving these amazing things while watching. And that sort of inspired me to get invested in video games, because I saw him so invested in them and learning. And, even though we would fail, he would come back later and come back with a better strategy. And that to me is, sort of almost a lesson in my own personal life. Not just my job nowadays, with YouTube, If I make a mistake, I come back later and I make it better, and that same logic I apply to my video guides as well. That's why I like to leave mistakes inside my videos, to show you that it's possible, even if you mess up. And to me, the original RE3 safe room theme gives me that feeling. If there was a way to describe that feeling with music, I think the song 100% describes that. And I'll listen to it in a second. Let's do it. Amazing. Simple yet iconic. Once again, much like RE2, this theme is so iconic, perfect, makes you feel like you're safe, but it's more on the more horror side of things. It's called Free from Fear, which is an amazing way of describing it. I think it's one of the best of all time, best video game music of all time. So let's take a break from the best of the best and talk about a little bit of the not so good ones. And RE Revelations 2, if I actually had to look up this song because I don't remember it. I didn't remember it, but I recently revisited RE Revelations 2 on a stream. So if you want to check that out, you can check it out. I'm sure it'll be linked somewhere. This music is amazing, but once again, doesn't give me that same vibe that something like the top ones, RE3, RE Village, and RE2, and whatever, RE4, actually do give me. Actually, let me put this right here. There we go. Just because I feel like the original RE4 is slightly better. The song, that is. Just, it's not that memorable, like I said. It's good music, but it's not that memorable. So let's listen to it, shall we? Let's look it up. Let's look it up. It's the raid mode upgrade room. So I think this is the same song, isn't it? Oh, it's the results. It's the results screen. Oh, no. Okay. Well, actually, I'm going to consider this one for the safe room, because this is the one that you get at the end of the chapter. This is actually a pretty good song. I think it's slightly better than Revelations 1. It still has that same vibe of hopelessness, but you're safe. But it's not as iconic. Like I said, I hate reusing words, but it's not as iconic as the other ones. I'm actually gonna put it on B, because I feel like that's better than Revelations 1. So I'm gonna put it on B. It's a great song, not very memorable, not very, blows me out of the water kind of thing. It doesn't blow my mind. Let's just put it that way. But it's really good. It's actually better than I thought. So same thing with RE7. RE7 is a great game. They were returning to the original sort of formula of Resident Evil 1. And they did that with the song as well. The safe room theme, very reminiscent of the original Resident Evil. The only big problem with me is that it's not very, striking. It doesn't hit you. It's very subtle. You barely hear it. And it doesn't give me that feeling of I'm safe, but I'm still struggling. Since the game is so much more grounded and less cartoonish like the other ones, it's much more difficult to separate, for me personally, that feeling of running around, shooting heads off, or getting bitten to death, down to danger, health, and finally entering the safe room and hearing that song, feeling that I'm safe. In Resident Evil 7, I feel some of those things, but it's more like, maybe it's because I've grown up, I interpret things differently. So it's something that you should keep in mind when listening to this, when judging music and, games in general. You've grown up, you perceive things differently. Of course, nostalgia has a big factor in what we like and how we perceive things. And I think Resident Evil 7 really didn't blow me away. Not very super, iconic. But like I said, these games are very recent. 7 years ago, coming up on 7 years ago, this game was released almost 7 years ago, as opposed to 20 plus years ago of the other games. So yeah, Resident Evil 7, pretty good song, not very memorable in my opinion. When people think of a safe room, they don't think about this song. Definitely hits all the boxes of feeling safe, but in the game itself, it's so subtle that you barely hear it, and you really don't. I don't know. It's very similar to the RE Village one, but it doesn't give me that same feeling. It still feels like slightly generic. Like I said, I didn't play Resident Evil 7 that much as I would have liked to, but when I entered a safe room, it didn't hit me like the other ones. So personally, it's slightly less than RE Village. So let's move onwards here because it's gonna be a very long video. So the remakes. I gotta say the remake songs for RE2, they're all right. Let's actually listen to them before I judge. So this is the remake RE2. Yeah, no. It feels like RE7, right? Yeah, no, absolutely not. I love that game. I love RE2 Remake to death. It's my favorite Resident Evil of all time, but it just sounds like RE7. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. It nothing's iconic about it. It just sounds very generic. And I actually had to look up this song because I couldn't remember it because all the songs in the remakes kind of sound the same. RE4 excluded though. RE4 did a pretty good job at making them sound more inspired by the originals, which they were all different. They say they had the same vibe, but they were all, had their own personality. And I don't get that from the RE2 remake songs. That's why I play with the original soundtrack. So on the same vein, let's talk about Save Room, RE3 Save Room remake. Now, this brings a smile to my face because, like I said, RE3 was my first game ever, the original RE3, and this is pretty much the same song, but it sounds more sad. It sounds more emotional than the original one. I think it's pretty good. I think it's actually freaking amazing. I'm almost gonna put it on the S, but I'm gonna put it on the same level as these three, these other two, tier A. I think this is how you make a remake soundtrack. Don't stray too far from the original. It gives me the same vibe of the original, but it's not. Once again, it's not that. I don't have that same emotional attachment to it as much as I had with the original. That's why I'm personally putting it on the A. Amazing song, great game. Don't let anyone ruin it for you. Just go and play it. All right, we're almost done here. Let's move it, right? Okay, so RE5 safe room theme. Let's listen to it. Resident Evil 5 save room. I know it's probably safe, not safe, but who cares? Same thing. Oh, results. Okay. This is not the song that I remember. Is it Item Box Extended? Is it this one? Oh, it's this one. Yeah, yeah. It's interesting because I can tell it's the same people working on this music. I can 100% tell that it's the same people. It's almost like you can tell the evolution. It's incredible to think about from 1996 to 2023. It's crazy. I never actually thought about it. RE5 is like the perfect middle ground between classic and modern. Like I said, it's not iconic, it's not memorable, it doesn't blow me away. It sounds like a really nice song to listen to, but it sounds like a lot of the other songs. That's why I'll put it on the same. I'll put it on the same level as. I'm actually gonna put it on C. Mostly because it just sounds like very generic. It's not. When I listen to this song, if you didn't tell me what song this was, I would just probably tell you, oh, that's a song from Resident Evil, probably like the main menu or something. It's not. It doesn't give me that feeling of I'm safe, but I'm still struggling. Emotional. It's just a song. It's just a video game song, in my opinion. It sounds very similar to the other. It sounds like a perfect middle ground between remakes and classic ones. So it's a good song, but in terms of safe room, not really. It's all right, I guess. RE0. I actually have to listen to this one. Remind myself what it sounds like, and we're almost done here. So this song is actually one of my favorites. It's very simple, much like RE4. It gives me the same vibe of RE4 original. And that's probably why I'm gonna put it on the same level as RE4. I think this RE0 is underrated when it comes to the music. It's a very generous A though. It's very generous. It's like very bottom of the barrel, not bottom of the barrel, but sorry for hitting my mic, but it's very very low level, low tier tier A, very generous tier, but it's pretty good. I don't get that. I don't super get that feeling of I'm safe for now, but I'll be fine later. But I'll be struggling again later. It's more like a distorted almost vision of safety, like almost like the character's nervous. But I'm okay now, but I'm kind of nervous about the future. What's gonna come out after, what's gonna happen after I come out of this room, after I leave this room. So that's why it does. It's a pretty good song, but it's a bit different almost from the other ones. But I do get the same feeling as the original RE4. But in terms of iconic, it's slightly better than the original. I think RE1. So that's why I'm putting it on A. So I don't think I've played RE6. I don't remember I did play RE6, but I don't remember the safe room. I don't think there even is one. So let's talk about one of my all-time favorites. Without a shadow of a doubt, if there was an S+, I would put this above everything. Code Veronica, my absolute favorite. My absolute favorite theme. Let's listen to it. Perfect. Perfect. Absolutely perfect. Just absolutely amazing. This is the perfect. Sorry, I can't stop playing it. This is the perfect safe room theme. There isn't a better one than this. It has that feeling of, like I said before, you're fine. It's almost like a lullaby, like so much comfort, right? It's perfect. You feel so much comfort in those piano notes, and the ding ding, at the end of that. But it still has that more somber feeling with the piano. It definitely captures those two main things perfectly: the feeling of safety, but also there is still a job to be done, and you still aren't sure what's going to happen. And I think this is the perfect safe room theme. There isn't a better one, in my opinion. And it's also not just three notes like a lot of the other ones. So once again, I think these three are amazing, but Code Veronica is definitely above everything else. I haven't experienced a six safe room or outbreak, so that's gonna be my tier list for now. Let me know what you guys think about this in the comments down below. What would your tier list be? What's your favorite Resident Evil safe room theme? And hopefully you enjoyed this silly little video, and hopefully you want to see more. Let me know by leaving a like, subscribe, click the notification bell to know when I go live or when I upload a video. And stay safe, take care, and remember, be passionate about the things that you like. All right, I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.